Hello ladies and gents, today we're going to talk about the HOKA Mafate X. Obviously I still do not have this shoe because I really didn't get on with it, really didn't rate it. And I'm going to talk about today why I don't think you should actually buy this shoe and probably wait a few years for them to finalise this shoe and make it a lot better. So this carbon trail shoe comes in at a 49 in the heel and a 41 at the forefoot. And I must admit, when I first saw the shoe, I thought this was going to be amazing. 3.5 mil in the lugs. Now, and before we get into the main bulk of the video, please like, subscribe and share. You never know if this video saves someone nearly £200. So I have to admit, when this shoe first came out, I was really happy. I was like, okay, cool. Love the Mafate 4. I thought, oh, this is just like a carbon version, so hopefully it should feel a little bit quicker. Now, when you first put this shoe on, it feels amazing. It feels lovely. It's very plush. It feels good. But actually, the shoe starts to come apart once you start running in it. And especially if you're going out for more than a few hours, you start to feel the stiffness of the plate. And in my eyes and opinions and others as well, it just didn't need the plate. Not with all that plush foam. So yeah, got the shoe. And I had quite a big back-to-back weekend. And so I was like, right, this is going to be a really, really good time to test this shoe. And actually, let's see what they've done. Wore it, I think, for 5 hours one day. Just didn't get on with it. Could feel sort of the pressure in your toes. So like when we've got these carbon bits running through the shoe, obviously it's going to make it stiffer. Which isn't a bad thing all the time. But I could just feel the sort of like it just pressing on the toes, so it felt like just not a nice feeling basically, and then that's like pushing against your toenails. And I thought, right, I'm going to try these tomorrow as well, just so I can get a proper good feel for the shoe. You know, I've nearly spent 200 quid on this shoe. I want to get some worth out of it. Obviously I don't have the shoe, I've sold it on Vinted because yeah, it was just terrible. And I have to be honest, I was expecting a lot more from HOKA with this. I thought this was going to be like just one of those amazing shoes, like, oh my god. And I know everyone I know who's bought this shoe and who I bloody told to buy sort of regretted that decision. And it's interesting because they could have done a really, really cool thing there with that shoe. But it just didn't need the plate, and it could have been a bit more softer. Especially when you're coming in at like nearly 50 mil at the heel. And you knew you had that under your foot, like it felt like you actually had bricks attached to your feet. So it wasn't really a fast shoe. And I was like, this isn't a fast shoe, and it's not comfortably an all-day shoe. So what is this shoe? I do hope that HOKA can like pull it back and make like their next version a lot better. So I do think there's just loads of things they've gone wrong here. So when we look at a shoe that's carbon plated and high stack, the Rocket X Trail or the Tecton X3 for me are far superior, far more springy, a lot lighter, just nicer shoes to actually running. So yeah, for me, HOKA dropped the ball there with the Mafate X, and actually it's not a shoe I'd personally think about buying or telling people to buy. Loads of cons as to pros that shoe. And I know looking at other people's videos and their reviews of it, they feel the same once they've taken it for a long run. Now, like I said earlier, you first put that shoe on, you think, oh my god, this is amazing. This shoe feels fantastic. It's going to be a great shoe. But then you go running in it for X amount of time. You're like, actually, this shoe's pretty uncomfortable. So I definitely think there's room for improvement. I noticed as well, the lugs wore down so quick. It was like wearing a Speedgoat 5, where you could go out on a long run and you can actually literally see the lugs have gone down. So the durability was poor as well, which is interesting. But yeah, not a shoe I'd advise anyone to buy, if I'm perfectly honest. Save your money. There are better options out there. If you want a carbon trail shoe, you know, I'd say the Tecton X3 or the Tecton X2 are better shoes. I'd say the Rocket X Trail shoe is far better. That's my favourite shoe at the moment. But bear in mind, that has a specific purpose. I actually think that shoe is very similar to the Mafate X in its own way, as in it could be a long day shoe. But it's just a much better shoe. So yeah, save yourself some money. Send this to someone who's thinking about the shoe and save them some money as well. I think we just need to give it a couple more years before that shoe comes out again. And yeah, I'll probably buy it again and probably get mugged off. So yeah, hopefully that helps.